So today, I will be sharing with you guys the importance and tips on how to build an online presence using social media. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, but before we dive into the subject matter, let me just give you a brief introduction of who I am. Okay, let me breathe. Okay, I have done a fair share of company pitches and stakeholders presentations in my working life, still nothing as nerve-wracking as talking and sharing about myself. If any of you have any questions during this sharing, please feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I will actually attend to them during the Q&A session at the end. So here goes. So I'm Eileen, and I'm currently the marketing manager here at Partipost. After graduating from high school, like some of you, I questioned what I wanted to be in the future. So I started writing down my options, starting with, what my parents expected of me, a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, or, maybe something else. But, I was actually thinking what is actually my passion as well. Though a prestigious job title with a handsome paycheck at the end of every month doesn't sound too bad, except I was actually born to do more creative stuff. And the idea of, following SOPs and guidelines or doing the same thing over and over again kind of stifles me a bit. So my teachers and my parents used to complain that I was a chatterbox. And I knew I loved being around people. Hence, I decided to enroll into mass communications, majoring in public relations. So the study of PR covers three main domains. So generally communications and media, PR theory and application, and also writing for mass communication. So I picked up additional 2 minors during my second year, and journalism and psychology, just because I wanted to, hone my communication skills and learn more about effective communications. I've learned more than ever how powerful words are throughout my entire uni days. We talk every single day, and it is actually the core or foundation of our communication and also our relationship with, other people as well. When used rightly, can definitely bring you to greater heights. But if you use it wrongly, it can definitely destroy you if you actually, use it recklessly. Months and years after molding my PR practitioner skills, I decided not to continue on with PR and pivot on to marketing instead. So since it's actually a very fine line between the two, just in my opinion. So I bet any lecturers listening to this might have a different opinion altogether. At least in my opinion, both share the same underlying goals to establish and maintain good relationships with people through communication skills and also meeting the company goal at the end of the day. So that will be like the gist of who I am and generally what I've done so far. But, now let's move on to the subject matter. Next slide, please. All right. So going back to the itself, right? Today, we're going to talk about the importance of building a presence on social media. But before that, I just want to dive deep into Malaysian numbers and also just to share with you guys the landscape that we are actually facing right now. So diving deep into Malaysia, there are actually 32.37 million people in Malaysia. And the number of smartphone users is estimated reached at 29,046 million according to Statista. The COVID pandemic has definitely accelerated the growth of the Malaysian digital age, with almost 40% of companies in Malaysia leveraging digital platforms to communicate with consumers and also to drive sales. With the rise of 22.55 million active users, when we mean active users, generally I mean people who are very active on their social media and who is actively on their phone, it has brought an influx of influencers into the scene. And it's not just a Malaysian thing, it's a global thing. We've since migrated to a digital-first basis, which means, the playing field is now vastly different from, even a decade before. And it is, inevitable now that nearly everyone, brands and consumer alike, and believe you guys as well, have an online presence of some kind. From the Gen Zs, however, this is nothing new. I think for you guys, it's nothing new. Believe you've never drawn a distinctive between the physical and also the digital world, whether or not it's online or offline. So the critical element is that you guys can actually seamlessly move between each of these genres. Gen Zs are leading this shift in consumer behavior with their digital fluency and articulating nothing less than a new paradigm for digital experiences. That being said, let's move on to the next slide. All right, so if you can see here on the screen, ever wondered how you can actually grow your presence on social media? We actually ran, on Partipost, we actually ran a survey beginning of this year, and we actually saw that the respondents have agreed that their social media consumption on various platforms has increased 87% and has shown more than 2 hours a day on social media alone, and that is a minimum number. So basically, they actually spend 46% of their time scrolling on social media platforms for more than 5 hours. And this shows the rising prevalence of social media platforms in an individual day-to-day life. And we're not just talking about Instagram, we are also talking about TikTok, we are also talking about Twitter, we're talking about a Chinese platform called Xiaohongshu and an upcoming one called Lemonade. So some of the top reasons that many people use social media platforms, including, staying connected and being up to date. Getting information is one of them, creating content to share. Other reasons, including learning and also documenting daily life, becoming an influencer also, and also following influencers. And I believe everyone, I would say if not everyone, we actually do follow a number of influencers within our social media feed itself. With the potential of or opportunity for all, right? Have you ever wondered how can you grow, and take a bite of this big pie? If yes, do you have a niche in your current social media presence? Like, do you guys know what niche is? Do you guys want me to explain? Okay, just really quickly. So what is a niche, right? Yes, it's some sort like a specialty. So a niche is a position or an activity that suits everybody's talent or personality. It's something that differentiates one person from the millions of the others on social media. So a niche can also be anything from like a yoga to fishing, or from peanut farming to gardening. So basically everybody should actually have a certain angle or a certain topic that they want to grow on. So basically, the first important thing is you need to know your niche. And how do you know what your niche is and whether or not your niche is something, you can actually build on? So there are actually a few questions you need to ask yourself. So basically, one of that is, what type of content are you curating right now on your social media? Okay, that's one. The second thing is, who are your target audience and who do you want to be associated with? So that's the second one. The third one is, of course, additional tip, whatever niche it is that you are creating, you need to make sure that it is, number one, relatable. So there's no point doing a niche where no one likes, no one's going to follow, and no one's going to comment and engage with your posts. So generally finding something that you like, knowing who you're going to target, and the most important thing is it relatable? All right, so we move on to the next slide. So if you want to grow your presence on social media, but the first thing is, does this sound like you? Do you look at your phones all the time? Are you guilty? Highly relying on Google and social media? Look at social media as more than just a broadcasting platform, but you see it as a community, a place that you can actually learn, a place that you can actually gather information. Last but not least is, caring about brand values and also mission. So generally, regardless whether or not you're building the brand for a product or for yourself, you need to know what is your objective. All right. We move on to the next slide. All right. So building a brand presence on social media can be quite difficult. Throughout the 10 years that I've been, working, I've seen countless brands and businesses try and fail to reach the numbers that they were looking for. And it's quite painful to see many people give up on social media. as it is by far one of the most powerful tools at least in the marketing spectrum, personally, and as a business to actually grow. It can be easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of methods and hacks available to actually build your presence. There are a lot of articles on Google. There are a lot of life hacks from influencers as well. But I have broken down 3 surefire ways to propel your online presence and to stay the top of mind of your audiences. Okay, but before we just get there, okay, let's take a look at the importance of growing your social media presence. So I'm going to break it down. So there's no notes here, so you guys have to pay attention. Okay, number 1 is building awareness. Okay, let me recap. Why is it important to actually grow your social media presence? Number 1 is basically building awareness. Social media boosts visibility, not just for a product, for an individual as well. Having a social media presence will let you to reach to a wider audience in an inexpensive way and a quick way as well. This builds awareness for both you and also your business. The second point, community authority. Most of the time when a person discovers a business, or even yourself, you will quickly search online and see if you can find more information about it. And then what's the business all about? It depends whether or not you Google about it or you IG about it, right? But basically what happens is you see something you like, the next thing you actually go online to actually check whether or not it's real, whether or not it's a scam, right? If you don't have any social media platforms, they generally won't. If that particular brand or yourself do not have a social media platform, they will not be able to search you out, and then without the social media presence, the search ends there, full stop. I know it's important for me to see social media presence when I'm looking to buy something, or I want to go somewhere, or I want to do something. You can use your social media platform to actually build authority, show what you and your business is all about, and that you are a trustworthy and also approachable brand. Okay, the third thing is basically authenticity. Having a social media account can allow you to, have more freedom to play with creativity compared to your website. You can get more creative and show your brand personality even more. And then, compared to, doing the UX and the UI of the website. Followers will want to see more of the real you. And hence, that is why generation these days, we always opt for social media to get to know a person. Just a sidetrack. So generally, it's the same like us going to Tinder or us going to Coffee Meets Bagel. You chat with them on the chat and stuff like that. Or maybe you've been talking to them on the phone. But what you really want to see is their social media platform, whether or not they're real or whether they're just catfishing you. So it's the same theory. Okay. So I just hope that you guys understand better. So basically on an Instagram story, for instance, you can actually show the behind the scenes of your day-to-day life, your business, how you created the product, and how you actually, create a campaign, for example. This could be a really fun way to demonstrate your authenticity to your followers and also to your customers. The other one is encourage engagement. Let me tell you, on marketing sense itself, you can have a presence on social media, but what marketers see and what clients see these days are engagement. So hence, this is an important note that you should actually, take note of. So social media continually create new ways for people to connect and engage. Using features like stories and live video can be a really good way for your audience to see who is behind the business, which will make them feel more welcome and also encouraged to engage with you. They see you as a person. They don't see you as a bot. Creating and experimenting with new content can also encourage new user engagement when followers enjoy and can give feedback about it, having two-way communication. Creating polls or asking questions are also some ways that businesses are also encouraging engagement and that you can implement on your social media channel. And it's not just a business kind of thing. It's not B2B kind of thing. It could be you engaging your current followers as well. They follow you on your IG, but once in a while, you should be engaging with them just to know that, hey, I see you, I appreciate you following me, and your feedbacks and your advice and your, support means everything to me. So generally, there needs to have a two-way communication for them to feel appreciated. Providing support. Have you ever had a problem with a service or product and you call the helpline and you sit there for hours and you get angry because no one attended to you because you listened to voice message over voice message and your problem's not fixed? So yes, we all have this problem, but with social media, you can actually create an efficient support network. Support network is one thing, it's a nice way to say it. Another way is basically putting it on social media so that they can actually take note of your issues and come back to you ASAP. I think that's what a lot of people are doing right now. So building this level of trust with consumers will help them to come back to you once and again. How do you build this trust? When they actually pose a challenge or they have an issues, for example, they reach out to you. The most important thing is you need to reach out and also address that issue. And that is where I was talking about in terms of, two-way communication. This can then turn them into loyal customers, recommending your business to their families and friends. No one is perfect. And I don't think generation these days or Instagrammer or even social media owner these days, they expect everything to be perfect. I don't think there's such thing as perfection. But the most important thing is knowing exactly, showing them that you are also a person, you have issues as well, but the most important thing is how you solve them. So being a very good positive, motivation and also encouragement that everybody go through tough time and how do they overcome it. So that is an important point. So with that, I will actually break down the 3 ways to actually grow your online presence, which is these 3 core pillars: content marketing, social media marketing, and also influencer marketing. Next slide, please. So what is content marketing in simple words? Content marketing is marketing strategy used to attract, engage, and retain the audience by sharing relevant articles, videos, podcasts, and any form of medias. This approach establishes expertise, promotes brand awareness, and keeps the brand top of mind. So how aware are you of effective storytelling? When it comes to planning your content, it is important to ask yourself these questions. 3 questions. First thing, what makes good storytelling? How do you ensure your audience is constantly engaged? How do you retain your audience attention span? So content marketing and storytelling, it's like the BFFs. Everybody can write good content, but can you write a good story that is actually relatable and at the same time people are engaged and will follow your content? So that is the difference. So in essence, these stories are actually your identity, your purpose for existence, and how you ascribe the meaning to what you do. Whether or not you're promoting for a brand or you're promoting for yourself, you need to know your sense of purpose. A good storyteller draws us in a way you convey the why and the how you do. This is, of course, not a simple feat, as storytelling is both an art. At the same time, it is also science. I will break it down to 2-part formulas: the content and the audience. So the 2-part, the content and the audience. Failing to understand both means you are failing to reach it out. Your story failed to reach out. All right. It's not just about using, I think, in the comment section, someone mentioned about using persuasive words. There are a lot of people who actually use persuasive words, very big words, very jargon words, right? But at the same time, sometimes, going back to basic might not be a bad thing. Being true to who you are and letting people know that you're vulnerable as well, right? You are also a person, you're also a normal brand that we are striving for growth. So I would say persuasion works, but sometimes you need to take a step back as well. All right. So then we move on to the next one. So social media marketing should be something all of you are familiar with. And, it's the nutshell of what we're talking about today. So social media is a form of digital marketing that leverages the power of popular social media networks and the likes of some of the platforms that I've mentioned earlier, which is TikTok, Instagram, Xiaohongshu, and, Lemonade as well, to achieve your marketing and branding goals. But it's not just about creating business accounts, posting whenever you like it. It's not that case. Social media marketing requires an evolving strategy with measurable goals, which includes, number one, maintaining and optimizing your profiles. So your profile change over the years. So it's not like, okay, I'm going to set up my account today and I'm going to leave it there for the next 10 years. No, things change. So you definitely need to optimize your profile, optimize your niche. Number two, posting pictures, video stories, and live videos that represent you or your brand to attract the relevant target audience that you're actually searching out for. Okay. Number three, responding to comments, shares, and likes, and also monitoring your reputation. I think one thing that I've actually learned in PR is media monitoring, or right now we can actually call it like social media monitoring. You got to know who is talking good about you. It is also good to know who is talking things that are not so good about you or your brand. The most important thing is once you actually take note of such things, then of course you need to do risk management. So how do you actually address this issue to the public? And the most important thing is don't hide. I think most of the time that we've seen on news and, whatsoever mistakes that we've done, we realize that, admit it, and then, tell them we are striving for better change. I guess that is what everyone wants to see instead of, us denying and, not owning up to our mistakes. And then the last one is basically following and engaging with followers, customers, and also influencers to build a community around your brand. Ask yourself, when you build your brand, who you want to be surrounded by. So you need to be very picky in a way to actually choose who your allies are. For example, number one, which are the influencers that you want to work with moving forward? And those are the influencers that's going to define your brand as well. So if they have a very, cheeky personality, then of course, people will think that your brand is very cheap, very young, very hip. But if it's a very business related brand, right? So obviously you are actually reach out to more reputable people who are more formal, who are more informative, those kind of KOLs that we're talking about. All right. So social media marketing also includes basically paid media. Obviously there's Facebook ads, there is, TikTok ads and stuff like that, where you can actually pay to get your business to appear on a larger volume of high targeted audience. But if you build a sizable online presence yourself, you might not even need to spend a dime. Okay. So essentially for every business, regardless big or small, having a social media account is important, whether or not it's a product or for yourself. Next slide, please. Okay, let's look at the trends and how it can actually help you accelerate your growth online. So basically, engaging short form videos are now the more preferred choice of consumers. That's why we are seeing more reels these days. Social commerce will continue to expand. The ability to buy products directly from a social media platform has become a norm. Instagram shops and shoppable product IG posts. Very straightforward. Marketers are now choosing to work with whole network of small relevant niche influencers. These kind of influencers get higher engagement and it costs lesser to them. But the most important thing is to identify which influencers will align best with your brand. So when you're planning for a content, you should always ask yourself this question. What is your niche? I mean, the niche thing keeps coming, right? So what is your niche? Who's your target audience? What's the best social media platform to engage with your audience? according to your niche and according to your audiences. Okay, so we move on to the next slide. Okay, so the third pillar is basically influencer marketing. At a fundamental level, influencer marketing is a type of social media marketing that uses endorsement and product mentions from individuals. Basically, these are the individuals that has dedicated social followings and are viewed as experts within their niche, aka influencers. So influencer marketing works because of the high amount of trust and social influence that has built in their following, and recommendations from them serve as a form of a social proof to your brand to potential customers. Just a little bit stats. Do you know that in the year of 2021, it has redefined the whole role of social media marketing and also consumer behavior for brands? Social media users have increased more than 500 million the past year alone. With the way that technology is constantly evolving and the dramatic rise of smartphone users, the social media and influencer marketing landscape has dramatically changed. Brands are now quickly to adapt to the new landscape, shifting in marketing strategies to utilize nano and micro influencers to secure higher ROIs. Brands are now building long-term relationships with trusted influencers and focusing on authenticity, which will lead to the emergence of influencer ambassador programs. Right? Have you guys heard of influencer ambassador programs before? Okay, just so you know, most of the e-commerce sites have them. Zalora has them. Mango has them, if I'm not mistaken. Shopee has it. Lazada, I think so. So they actually call it the affiliate program as well. It's very thin line between ambassador and also the affiliate program. So most of the e-com platform, they actually have it. So in a summary, why does influencer work, right? So of course, influencers know their audience best because of, you know, the niche that they have actually curated their content on, and also the type of, you know, audiences that they're trying to reach out to. So basically, they know who the audience is. Kickstart conversations, you know, DMing, commenting on IG. It's not that difficult it's not that difficult anymore. It's very straightforward. We can definitely do that. Building brand credibility, putting ourselves out there. You know, people will know us as a person. Then they will be able to trust us more because we actually put a face behind it. Frames brand perception. So generally, if you were to compare two brands, so both are two new brands in the market. Okay, just let's assume that. One doesn't use influencer marketing and one uses influencer marketing. Okay. The one that uses influencer marketing, in what kind of form, what kind of mechanic? For example, they have the new product they want to introduce to the market, but they want to know what people think about the product first. So they actually maybe reach out to, 50 influencers in Malaysia. Of course, they choose the kind of influencers that will relate best, that resonates with the brand. Send it over to them. They try out the product and they give reviews, right? And then maybe they actually say, hey, I received this product in the mail, share it on their IG. Has been great on my skin so far. So assuming we have these two products, one that doesn't advertise on, one doesn't use influencer, but uses maybe, billboards or radios or TV, for example. And the other one is where you can actually see good reviews. I won't say good reviews, I would say real reviews, authentic reviews about a particular product. Hence, the chances of you opting in to actually purchase the product with a review is actually higher. Because though sometimes most of the things are seeded, these influencers actually use their own identity as a vouch that the product is actually good. Or the product, it kind of worked. I won't say it's good, it kind of worked, right? So hence, that is why I would say I believe actually everybody flocks towards the second product more. But, if you guys have a different thought about it, definitely share with us. Then, we can definitely have a next session about it as well. So generally, I guess that will be the snapshot of what influencer marketing is all about. Next slide, please. So we've spoken in length, right, about how to build an online presence on social media and how it can help you grow a brand. But have you ever wondered how you can use social media to build your own individual presence for your brand? Okay, let me repeat that. We have spoken in length about building an online presence on social media, how it can help you grow a brand. Versus, have you ever wondered how you can use social media to build your individual presence for your brand? Okay, there are multiple benefits to that, and how personal branding helps you increase your brand visibility. Of course, number one, it increases your brand credibility online because they already know you as a person. It increases trust among Gen Zs, especially if you have a collaboration with other homegrown brands that they trust and they love, giving your brand a persona and a voice in today's digital age. Not only that, it also helps you with, seeing it as your own profile, that you can actually showcase your creativity and also your own persona. And it can be also used as a medium for monetization and creating a more secure financial future. Next slide, please. If you are unsure how to start on this content creator journey / building your persona on social media, fret not, Partypost has a way to help you. Regardless if you are building an online presence for your brand or for yourself. But before that, I will jump right into it. Let me give you a quick background of who Partipost is. I believe some of you guys asked, what company am I working for right now? Partipost. So Partipost is a crowd marketing platform that connects brands to influencers and everyday people, helping brands access word-of-mouth advertising among social media users with an automated system that can help brands maximize their ROI at a lower cost. Okay, how does the app work? Okay, so when I actually mentioned that we are a platform, so generally we have an app. So Partipost is an app. So how does the app work, right? So number one is brand is willing to pay for consumers who share about the brands, about their brands, AKA if you are a brand ambassador. Hence, Partipost act as a middle person to build the bridge between everyday people with brands. Okay. Unlike other agencies out there, as long as you have a minimum 200 social media followers and above, you can actually join campaigns on the app, and you can already connect with brands and start posting. All of our campaigns are found on the app. Basically, all you need to do is choose the campaigns that you like and which you fit the requirements, and then post it on social media, and then you can actually start earning rewards. There is also different type of campaigns for different platforms. So, whether or not you want to grow your IG platform, you want to grow your TikTok platform, or vice versa, right? You can definitely do it. There are different campaigns that cater to different platforms as well. And then some of the brands that we've worked with, or some of the brands that you can anticipate on the app, will be like Jinro, Disney Plus, Adidas, Rimmel, Inside Scoop, Charles and Keith, stuff like that. So generally, those are some of the clients that we actually work. So it is a great app for those who inspire to learn tips and tricks of being a good content creator, navigating the treacherous realm of social media, because it's always changing, it's always evolving. So basically, we will be there to actually teach you how to actually create better content, right? And at the same time, being acquainted with people behind the brands that you love, right? So a small bonus on top of that is you get paid for every content that you post on social media. So yeah. So this slide says it all. All you have to do is just snap, post, and earn. Next slide, please. Okay, so we believe in word of mouth. So we talk about, content, we talk about content marketing, we talk about influencer marketing, we talk about social media marketing. At the end of the day, we are also advocating word of mouth, right? So we empower everyday people to, earn through their community and also share brands that they love on social media. So really quickly, so what we do here in Partipost, we generally have two objectives. Number one is being that bridge for brands and also consumer. The other one is what I want to advocate, what I want to share more today, which is we actually have workshops where we actually educate people how to actually become a better content creator, just like the talk that we are having today. So there will be more talks like this, whereby we actually teach them the tips and tricks, hacks as well. And then we will also be sharing with them, what are the updates and the latest trends on social media, whether or not you are promoting for a brand or whether or not you're promoting for yourself. We will have the toolkit for it. And that is what Partipost is in Malaysia. Okay, next slide, please. So in a recap, building trust and engagement is the key to win over Gen Zs. If you were to look at it, it's not just Gen Zs, it's everyone, but more so Gen Zs because they are like the majority of the people who are using social media right now. Since the digital natives like yourself, right? You use the social media and internet to make informed buying decisions. It makes sense, for a lot of brands to actually run ads, do a lot of sponsored posts to reach out to larger audiences. But most of the time, I think because the market is so saturated when it comes to content creation and when it comes to, paid ads and stuff, we cannot assume that all audiences can't see through the marketing gimmicks that some brands put out, that they are not all 100% truth. Maybe they're not all lies, but it's like 50% like truth and 50% lies, right? So the question that, the question is, what can you do basically to attract audience to your brand and win their trust? I think this is the last tip that we are giving you today, besides then all the tips of how to grow a social media presence. I think the overall is, how do you actually build an authentic presence and win over your followers? So here, I will want to share with you 3 tried and true techniques that work. So number one is start to use more social media and be comfortable with it. So when you're comfortable with it, you will become more real, and then you will know what are the type of contents that you want to post up, what kind of persona you want people to see across the screen on your social media platform. The second one is basically collect and also share user-generated content. So it's a term called UGC, from real people. So assuming if you are a brand, right, and you are actually selling something, people will most probably have tried your brand and share it online as well. So collecting these as testimonials will definitely work hand in hand some of your initiative to actually push the brand out. Last is basically embrace authenticity fully. Go live on social media platforms. Sometimes it's okay to not be ready for everything. But it also gives people another glimpse of who you are, that you are also a person, you are also struggling, you are also learning, but at the same time, I think you're putting a lot of effort to actually build, a good presence and have a very good relationship with your followers. I think that's the most important. So I think with that being said, right, that actually marks the end of my presentation. So, we can actually move on to Q&A you guys have. So, yep. You guys have any questions? What do you think people use social media a long time? What do you think? Let me try to interpret the question. Do you mean how long do you think people will be using social media from now to towards the future? Is that your question? Or how long? Okay. I think generally we have become a generation where we like sharing, and I think social media platform will just continue to grow. If not the normal platforms that we know like Facebook and IG and TikTok, there will just be more and more social medias popping up and evolving to what our needs are. So to that question, yes, it will be here for a long time. Anyone has any other question? How can startups with little to no resources use trend spotting to choose the right campaigns? I think for this particular question, it's quite deep, but I think in line with the message that that I'm actually trying to get across today is, I think one of the best way to put your brands out there. I think the first thing is putting your brands out there is you can actually grow yourself as a personal brand. Making sure that you have your own online presence, so that will actually definitely help out with your product that you want to promote as well. In terms of trend spotting, I think at the end of the day, it depends on what you like. Yes, trends will always be there. There will definitely be new trends out there, but at the end of the day, you need to know your niche. You need to know what you want, right? And hence, then you'll be able to choose the campaign that resonates with you the most. Next question. Is it important to only target Gen Zs just because the numbers is bigger, or also target other Gs if aligned with your niche? Correct. It's just, I would just say that Gen Zs are the one who is the driving force behind this huge change right now. They are the bigger pool. So if you have a niche that actually targets them, great. But if you have a niche that targets older generation, but you need to be a little careful as well, depending on which older generation you're talking about, whether or not they're on social media. I think that's a very important question. But if you're talking about, 30, 40 years old, yeah, it's possible, but most probably the engagement need to be more authentic, because they would prefer more authentic content, more authentic engagement, compared to, you posting nice pictures. They won't like it just because of that, because the difference in generation, they like different things. So knowing who, what your niche is, knowing who your audience, and then you have to craft out your content accordingly. Okay. Okay, let's go. Do you think social media will still be on trend next 10 years? Yes and no, but maybe not the same kind of social media platform in the same setting. Marketing evolves, social media platform evolves. I would say as we speak, like, how previously IG story was only for 30 seconds. And IG just recently announced that most probably it will extend it to 60 seconds. So these are the change that we are talking about right now. Okay. Any tips on how to get up from failure after starting small business or being content creator? Okay. Yes. Never give up. I'm so sorry. Okay. I would say that going back to the drawing board, you need to look into your failures. Why did it fail? And then you have to trash it out and come up with a new strategy from your learnings. And I think there's only growth. I mean, failures are failures, but growth comes if you recognize the learnings from your failures. So I think that will be something that I'm trying to convey. Any other question? When is the best time to post the product in social media? Okay, it depends on which platform. All right, but in general, it depends on your audience. If you're talking about working audience like myself, if you talk about working audience like myself, most of the time I would say that before working hours and after working hours would be the best time. The peak hours, when people jam in the car. So like maybe 8, 9, 10 in the morning. Evening will be 6, 7, and 8 will be a good time to post up. But if your audience is slightly younger, then you can definitely post it anytime in the morning or in the evening, during lunch, in the afternoon during lunchtime, and also at night during dinner. Generally focus on weekdays, not on weekends, because most of the time, even though people are always on their phone, they try to have a life on weekends. So focus on weekdays. For example, we have done every tips and tricks to build persona branding and following the trend on social media, but we see no progress. Does this have to do with it? No. I think perseverance and consistency. So a lot of time, okay, I saw a troll, but okay. So I think that you have to be consistent. And I think with consistency will definitely drive results. So whatever you're doing, you always need to, like I mentioned to the person before, you need to know why a particular thing is working, why it's not working, look into it, and then adjust, continuously adjust. And then if you already find the sweet spot, then you will just have to continuously and consistently post every single day, month after month, year after year. Hopefully it doesn't take years, month after month, you'll definitely see results.